Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy, and I wanted to make sure I got this out as soon as possible because I was made aware of some things that are going on that I wanted to let as many people know. And one is regarding the National Guard that has been flown in or driven in that seems to be keeping people out of these areas, whether they live there or not. And then I'm also going to cover the accidental emergency evacuation alerts that were sent to many people and go over that. I'll explain what happened to me and maybe give some tips if you're in the area and you get one. First, let me just start out with the basics. The two largest ones are the Pasadena or the Palisades Fire, it's almost 23,000 acres, and the Eaton Fire in Altadena, that is, I don't know if over 4,000 or is it 14,000 acres? I can't read it. So you guys can look that up. But the Palisades Fire is actually going kind of like northeast above. So there's like a mountain range that it's crossing. And my understanding is the like south end of the San Fernando Valley, like Sherman Oaks and Encino. I last heard that they got a evacuation notice, which is pretty crazy. It usually fires don't usually go that far. That's pretty close to like Westwood and the Santa Monica area. But yeah, the Palisades Fire is growing in ways that I did not expect. I didn't think it would go out of control for this long or go as far east as it has gone. All right. And so I'll go over the two accidental emergency evacuation alerts I got. One was around 3:30 on Thursday. And, because I'm so up to date with what's going on, I thought maybe it was an accident. And then they sent another alert shortly after saying that that was a mistake. So the guy that is in charge of this, I'll play his clip shortly, but he will kind of explain why this happened. But then another one happened early Friday morning at around 4 a.m. And that, my understanding is it went to most of LA County. Something I'm curious about is if you're in the LA area, let me know in the comments kind of about where you are and if you got this emergency alert, because I'm hearing from some people that didn't get it, some people that did, because I'm a little worried that this might have been a premature evacuation order. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be sent yet. But those of you who are maybe not as close to the situation, like following it as close as I am, go to watch duty, and that way you can see the up-to-date areas that are being evacuated and see how close your area is to those zones so that you don't pack up and leave on accident. Okay, let me play. This is the reaction from the emergency management guy. And this is how he explains why those alerts went out.
There is an extreme amount of frustration, anger, fear with regards to the erroneous messages that have been being sent out through the wireless emergency alert system across LA County. I can't express enough how sorry I am for this experience. First of all, I want to clarify. This is not human-driven. There is no one sitting at a desk right now initiating emergency alerts. I want to restate that. Right now, as these alerts are being issued, they are not being activated or initiated by a person. This is my top priority. I am working all hands on deck with the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Integrated Public Alert and Warning Team. We have every technical specialist working to resolve this issue and to find the root cause. I implore everyone to not disable the messages on your phone.
Okay, so what I heard was that there is no actual person that's in charge of sending these alerts out or even double checking it, and that FEMA is in charge of this. So that even makes me more suspicious that there's something more to these emergency alerts. And when these go off, I mean, if you haven't gotten one, it wakes you up. It's really loud. If you have, two people in the house, they both go off at the same time. Surprisingly, it didn't wake me up on that Friday morning because I was up already. But for those that normally sleep through 4 a.m., I could see how that really messed up your day because you're probably stressed and didn't go back to sleep. I was able to go back to sleep, but that's because, I'm very up to date with everything that's happening. But I would say just have another form to check the evacuation zones if you get another emergency alert. Okay, the other topic that is really important, and this really broke my heart that to see this happen so soon. The Palisades Fire is still active, and so is the Eaton Fire in Altadena. And I've been getting, I'll read this to you about how people are not being allowed to go back to their properties. I got this yesterday, the 10th. My sister was denied access to her still standing house this morning by the California National Guard, who stated it's per Gavin Newsom's orders. And I'll just remind you all, this is what happened in Maui, and it's still going on there. Not quite as bad as it was, but property owners weren't allowed to go back to their property after Lahaina for some time. And yeah, and also this happened in North Carolina. So thank you, Chris, for sending me that. But since then, I've had other reports of this happening, and I have one on camera right here. I will play for you. This is a woman asking the National Guard, and this is in the Santa Monica Palisades area. She wants to go back to her home to get her prescriptions because some people left without taking much at all. And this is what he had to say.
Go back and get medications?
I believe you would have to contact the Santa Monica Police Department. From what I know is that they're not giving out escorts. But you can call them and double check them.
So she was told that she couldn't go back and they're not allowing escorts to take you back to your property. And so that really scares me because it makes me think that they're going to take over this area and they're going to militarize it. And I know people are thinking there's no way they're going to, keep us out of our neighborhood, but it's happened before. And it might be different when you go up to a National Guard with weapons on them in their fatigues. It might be a little bit more difficult to stand up to people, And here is evidence that there's a strong National Guard presence in the Santa Monica area. This is Santa Monica that goes down to PCH. So that is closed. And that is how most people from like the southern area get to the Palisades. This is how I get to the area because I'm south of the Palisades. But it seems like they're pretty strict with those that go in. And some people didn't even take their IDs. But I think even if you have your ID, they're just not allowing you. They're using this excuse that it's an evacuation zone and they're active fires, so you can't go there. But and now also they're saying, well, there's looting, so we're not letting anyone in under any circumstances. And I don't know how legal that is. If you have a property, especially if it's standing and it's still in good shape, I'm not sure how legal that is, but the governor has sent that order down. So maybe that makes that kind of a law. But I wanted to get this out because I wanted people to know what's going on and the potential that this kind of military activity has. They can easily, with all this support, just take that area over. Something else that no one's talking about is if your property did survive, there's a good chance the neighborhood did not. And the business areas are burned. On Monday, Shane and I will have a more comprehensive video showing all this and the damage and pointing out the anomalies. But, even if your house does survive, it's not going to be the same From what I understand, the water is toxic, so you can't drink the tap water. You're not supposed to cook with it. I don't know if power is back, so you might be without power. The stores and all businesses are probably closed or destroyed. So, going back to your property, you might feel very lucky, but you're dealing with the guilt of your neighbors who are no longer your neighbors. So I wanted to make sure people were aware of this. And, I wrote a book detailing things that happened after Lahaina. I know Stephanie put a lot of it in Burn Back Better, what happened immediately after. So in Lahaina, it was different. It took a little more time for FEMA and the National Guard to get into the area. I think they were kind of left on their own for like a week or something, and then they started to shut the area off. But this is happening really fast. I mean, the area is still on fire, and they're starting to secure the area. And that should be really terrifying. So if you have anything that you want to get, I would get it now if your property was in these areas. And if you are potentially going to evacuate, here is a list. And I'm going to go into this a little bit more later, but things that you should take if you don't have that much time to evacuate, because you would need to have kind of think, even though it's uncomfortable, that you may not be coming back to this property for a long time. You want to have your ID, you want to have things to get you by for a little while, you want to have some sort of plan. It depends on your area. For example, I'm not too worried where I am. There are a lot of roads that go in and out of this area. But if you're on a street that is very kind of secluded and there aren't a lot of access roads, take that into consideration. But it's really, this is not going away anytime soon. I was just listening to Fox 11 and they said like the winds are going to pick up again tonight. So it doesn't sound like they're done. And I hate to have to bring this information to you all. It's not pleasant for me, but this is truly how I feel. I do feel like this was a orchestrated event. And on Monday, I will be presenting very strong evidence, comparing it to other fires such as Lahaina and Paradise, and also look at some of the political and social things that are going on that you want to keep an eye on. And I know I'm still kind of having a hard time believing that this has gotten to the point that it's at. And I'm really surprised that they're not more contained. I think the Palisades Fire, they said like 13% contained. That's really not a lot. And I think Mandeville Canyon has been evacuated, which is a very, very high-end, very beautiful area. And Encino, which is also a nice area, I believe they've been evacuated this past evening. Oh, and also they've made a curfew. So if you're out between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., I think you can get either arrested or just told to go somewhere else. And they're saying it's because of looting, but I do think there are other reasons why they're trying to kind of lock this area down. And yeah, that's really what I wanted to put out. I'll try to do my best to report things that I feel are really urgent, but we do have a more comprehensive video coming out on Monday. So with that, take care, everyone. And I guess I will see you all on Monday, unless something else happens. All right. Bye.